Hey everyone, Metagross Freak here, and I have a box that's so large I have to put it way back just so it all fits on the screen. This is a massive box that I got from Amazon today, and it inside is something I'm really excited for. I know it's like the millionth Soundwave I've done on this channel, but here I have Titan's Return, Leader Class Soundwave. Let's get him open. Behold! Titan's Return, Sound Blaster, and Soundwave. As you can see, it is a pretty damn big box. I mean, even just looking through the window, this is a really big Soundwave. It is my biggest Soundwave, and I think it's my first leader class, at least my first official leader class. I have a couple other Transformers that are pretty big. I have a couple different Voyagers. But I think my largest Transformers before this set were my Supreme class, Omega Supreme, and my MaxCon, which is basically kind of a hybrid between, it was an Armada hybrid between like a Voyager and Leader size figure of Overload with Minicon Rollout, both of which, ironically enough, are technically Headmasters. But here we have Soundwave. We have a really cool artwork. It's kind of hard to see. Let me turn up my light here. We have a really cool artwork on the front of Soundwave and his head either plugging in or unplugging, and as well as Sound Blaster, who is his Headmaster / Titan Master, who just makes up Soundwave's head. I'm having issues with some lighting, but we have some really cool. We got just got some really cool box art, and we have a larger mural of Soundwave there, which matches the trading card in the back, which I know is kind of hard to see based on my lighting situation. We have Soundwave's gun, and you can kind of see part of his launcher behind the head. But on the back, who doesn't love the back of boxes? I do. We have Soundwave and Titan Master. It does refer to him as Titan Master, not Headmaster. Sound Blaster with a really short bio. So we have Spanish, looks like French, and then, sorry, English, French, Spanish, and maybe Portuguese. I'm not sure. I honestly can't tell the difference between Spanish and Portuguese. Sorry, guys. But the English version says, Sound Blaster is a master of cyber infiltration. He drops a backdoor code into the systems of any bot he unites with, giving Soundwave a way in. Let's see. With that access, Soundwave raids their processors completely undetected and steals a constant stream of information. Really nice. Then we can see that Sound Blaster transforms into basically a tiny version of Soundwave, and that is, his alt form is basically just Soundwave's head. And Soundwave has 3 different modes. He has his robot mode, he has a boombox kind of mode, and of course he has a bass mode. The base mode's kind of cool, however, I didn't buy it for the base mode, I just thought it was kind of cool. He is a leader class, however, Headmaster units will fit on the Deluxe class, the Voyager class, and the leader class for all of these sets. And then it also recommends a couple other figures. It recommends Autobot Blaster, which this set is actually a redeco and repaint of. Actually, it's a redeco and remold. It recommends Alpha Trion, which is a Voyager, as well as Mindwipe, who is a character I've never heard of. And then we have, there we go, Ape Face, who is a Titan Master, who has, ironically enough, a very Soundwave-like head. Like that, if you had replaced the current Soundwave head on Soundwave with Ape Face, I might not have noticed that it was a different head. It's just a very stereotypical Soundwave head. A little bit of irony is on the very top corner here. It says robot to car to jet, and he does not have a car. He does not have a vehicle mode. He just has a base and a base and an alt mode that is not a vehicle. So let's get this open. There's a lot, literally a lot to unpack. I'm excited, and I'll see you in a moment. Alright, out of the packaging, leader class Soundwave is pretty dang tall. To use the ruler I have here, he is about 9.5, maybe about 9 1/3 inches tall, making him for sure the tallest Soundwave I own. And he just looks so impressive. Like he looks very G1. I just absolutely love him. For comparison, here he is next to the Voyager Soundwave that I reviewed from Transformers Cybertron. As you can see, even though Soundwave, the tip of Soundwave's wings is roughly equal to him in his head, the head reaches about the bottom of his pauldrons, right about here. So this Soundwave has a good like 1.5 if not 2 inches on him. This is just a very nice Soundwave. He's big and beefy, and I love him. Also, for comparison, here he is next to a fairly recent figure as well. Here he is next to Voyager Prime from The Last Night. Again, as you can see, Prime goes up to roughly the bottom of his shoulders. So he's a big, beefy Soundwave, and I love him. Soundwave comes with a couple accessories. I know I don't normally show the instructions, but I just want to show the instructions for a brief second because they have some really nice artwork on the instructions. Like, these aren't photos, these are like hand drawn, and they're very nicely done, and I really love the artwork right there. It looks really nice. I like the aesthetics of it. I'm sorry if I'm dwelling on the artwork. But for accessories, he comes with a blaster rifle, which is actually, ironically enough, just a repaint or a recolor of Blaster's blaster rifle, which it's a 5mm peg, so it fits comfortably in Soundwave's hand. Let me. Here we go, got that in there. Yeah, it fits comfortably in Soundwave's hand. It also includes this little cannon, which is, for anyone who's ever seen Soundwave, should know that this is basically his Gatling gun cannon bit that fits on his shoulder. There we go, right in a little peg hole. So lovely. He also includes a trading card, which has the full body artwork. That is hard to see. Which has the full body artwork seen on the box. Soundwave getting either attached to Sound Blaster or being decapitated. I really like this artwork. It's very Soundwave. And then on the back it has stats, the red being of course Soundwave and the blue being the bonuses that Sound Blaster gives. I think it's really ironic how slow Soundwave is. As you can see, his lowest stat is like speed or whatever. He only gains like +1 from Sound Blaster, so he has 3 speed in his big Titan form like this. He only has 3 speed, which is ironic considering that he has had, you know, a stealth bomber and, you know, a jet and, you know, like 3 or 4 different car modes. I find it really ironic how slow it says he is. And finally, his last accessory is this little box. If you've bought Leader Class Blaster, you'll recognize it. It basically is designed to be like an iPod, and even has a little thing there. But it also has kind of like these little blaster missile launchery bits. It has 2 different functions. In the base mode, it can be attached to this bar up here, which I'll show it in base mode as well. But it can be attached up here like a big cannon. I mean, I guess you can do this in robot mode too, which, I don't know, it kind of looks okay. And then you can also plug it in. Now, Soundwave does have a little button. If you press the button right up here on his shoulder, his chest pops open and you can fit this in. Though it does have a little seat for a Titan Master to sit in. Let me see if I can get this in properly. Oh, cool, it just fits like that. Okay, there we go. There we go. Titan Master just fits in comfortably, referencing, of course, how Soundwave and Blaster originally were cassette players. Now, this version isn't a cassette player, he's a boombox, so a little different. But I really like it. For posability, Soundwave does have a swivel for his head, though it because of the way it's designed, as you can see, he has a bit of he has a helmet. The piece that allows the helmet to attach makes it so that his neck articulation is a little cut off if you have the cannon on. It of course does lift up to reveal Sound Blaster, his Titan Master, and can fold away if you want to, but I mean, this is Soundwave. You gotta have that really 80s helmet, am I right? Soundwave is incapable of looking up and down though because of the design, but the head is supposed to be on a ball joint because of the Titan Master, but for some reason it seems that with this version of Soundwave it isn't. Sorry about that weird cut. I was having some issues with my camera lagging. I think it's solved now. For posability, I mean, Soundwave, of course, has that posability I showed in the helmet, as well as that bar that I showed, the boombox bar. Of course, the door to his boombox does open up, and he has a fairly quiet, though fairly kind of stiff ratchet in both shoulders. He does have as well a ratchet for, these are loud ratchets, for the arms as well. Ratcheted hinge for the elbow, as well as swivels in both elbows. So I mean, basically these are all fairly standard now. No fist articulation, mostly because of the way it transforms. And as a little bit of a preview, you can see that there's a bit of a hollowness here. That's just part of the transformation, so technically he can swivel his fists in, but it's not a feature, it's just because of the way Soundwave transforms. No waist articulation, though he does have these little skirts, these little skirt pieces that flip up. Let me flip these up to show off the hips. He does have, of course, swivel in the thigh, ratchets going two different ways, out and in, as well as forward and backward. Soft ratchet on the knee, very nice. And he has actually a hinge in the ankle. This is it going fully flat, I guess if you want him to balance on one foot. I have it bent, you can bend all the way in like that, as well as it can kind of, he has toe articulation, check that out. He has toe articulation, he's like Hound. Really cool there. This is a very balanced figure. I'm not worried about him toppling over. Like, he does wobble, but he has a good solid base. I'm really happy with how this figure stands. So, I think we've looked enough at the robot mode for now. Let's transform into his first mode and check that out too. I'm so excited. Alright, here is Soundwave in his boombox mode. He's got the nice little handle so you can pick him up and carry him with you. He looks really great from the front. Fortunately, he looks definitely a little robot-y from the back. He does have a problem with needing a place to store his weapons and his head, because, as we said before, his head, his Titan Master, which, by the way, I even like it that they like sculpted like hair or whatever. All this doesn't have a specific place where it stores in his alt mode. I guess you could. I've seen a couple different videos suggest that you plug in the cannon to this peg in the back. Well, hello, Shadow. How are you doing? Hi. How are you? Okay, you're ruining my shot. Go away. I've seen a couple different videos suggest that you attach the cannon bit in the back to be like a battery. Supposedly that also helps with him potentially not falling backwards, though I haven't really had that problem in the like 3 or 4 minutes I've had him transformed. There's also an open post right here, which I assume is where you maybe put the gun. But, I mean, it's a deep enough hole. But, I don't know. That's weird. He also has, if you slide the handle down, he does have a tiny little MicroMaster peg there. So you could, if you wanted to, attach Sound Blaster up top. Sound Blaster is basically kind of like an Armada Minicon style transformation. You basically just flip the legs down, rotate the hands up. There we go. Tiny, tiny. Doesn't even have separate legs. His legs are together. Though he does have, if I can get it to focus, he does have a very square chest and a, if I can get it to focus on his face, a very Soundwave-esque face. So, you know, it's kind of like Soundwave can hang out on top of Soundwave, and he does plug in there. I haven't used MicroMaster or Titan Master pegs before, but I do know he plugs in there. There's also some Titan Master plugs on the back. One thing you could also potentially do, let me see if this will work, is you can take out his cartridge and put him in the cartridge. Let me see if this will work. He's designed, there we go. So Sound Blaster is designed to sit in the little pod, which I guess if you really wanted to, you could slide in, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't go in all the way. I was really hoping that it'd be able to close with him in it. But let's see, I think it could technically close like that if you just bend his legs down. Let's try that, shall we? Just like a real cassette player, it's a pain in the butt to get it in. Oh, it doesn't go in with him in the thing, which is unfortunate. Yeah, if he's sitting in it, it doesn't slide in. Oh, it does. Oh. Oh. If I can just get it to close now. Okay, he's in. I just can't get it to close, and of course I got panels flopping about. So technically it does work. You just have to finagle it properly. I'm worried about damaging my MicroMaster if I use it like that. Though, I mean, worst case scenario is you just have a boombox with Soundwave's head. I'm actually not opposed to that. If I can just get it plugged back in, you know. That's the problem with having a ball joint in your neck, is it makes it difficult to plug things in. There we go. Soundwave head and a cartridge with a carefree, I don't know, make your rhymes. So there are very small tabs that plug the arm, the leg, and these front panels together, and they come unplugged fairly easily. But I mean, if you don't know where to store the head, if you don't want to use a Titan Master port, there you go. You can have a boombox with Soundwave's head. I actually am not disappointed by this. I like it. And then you just have the weapons storing, not really securely, but they're stored on the back. What do you say we turn this into bass mode? So I actually did record the footage for Soundwave's bass mode, but unfortunately, like with my Hound video, it didn't actually save the footage, meaning I would have to completely refilm that scene, that clip. And to be honest, I don't want to do that again because I just transformed him back into robot mode from where he is now. I mean, he was in bass mode, I just turned him into robot mode. So let me show you what it looks like. There we go. There's the bass mode. It has a couple little computer monitor things which are great for if you have a bunch of Titan Masters, if you want to role play, which are basically the heels of the feet have these little flip out computers. Let me flip those out. This one's okay. This one I really like the mold for. There's like piping and like little bits. I really like those. The elbows have flip out cannons. One is like a tri laser, and the other one is like a railgun double cannon thing. And then inside the legs there are these flip out tracks, which you may have seen, as well as there are little track connectors on his butt that you can use to connect him to other bases. For example, the Metroplex or the Triptychon bases. Honestly, I don't think that the bass is very good. Like it's a decent mode if you really want to have a bass, or like it's not even a bass, it's more of an outpost. But why would you have an outpost when you could either have Soundwave or just Soundwave's boombox mode? So I'd say his bass mode is probably his weakest form, and I unfortunately don't want to have to re-transform him from robot into bass. So I guess if you want to see the full bass, there it is again on the package. It's a decent mode, though not really my favorite. There's a bunch of Titan Master ports though, so you can put like 10 or 12 Titan Masters all around. Maybe even have like a Scout class or something, a Scout class figure like man something. I don't know. It's a good figure. This is a great figure. I meant to say it was a great. It's a decent base mode. The alt mode, the boombox, is pretty nice, but this is just a great Soundwave. It's going to be the centerpiece for sure of my collection of Soundwaves. So thank you all for watching. I'm glad I could bring this video to you because it was a lot of fun. And until next time, I'm Metagross Freak, and have a great day. Bye.